Getting meals made quickly can sometimes be a hassle, but if your pantry is stocked with the right things, you know, it can be a lot easier.
That's right. So we have Chef Amy Sherman of the Spartan Culinary Classroom in today with some tips for having a well-stocked pantry, and we're talking about the essentials here.
The essentials. These are the basics. These are the things kind of behind the recipe. So we're not going to talk about beans and pasta and things like that today. We're going to talk about the things that can make those ingredients great and better and really help you along the path of making things homemade.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's great because how many times do you either get home from wherever you've been, work, or your errands, and you're kind of needing something fast?
You need it now.
So you're going to the pantry really hoping that you have things in there and you don't have to go out and buy something at the store.
Well, and this is, again, I talk about the breakdown in people's cooking all the time where if you don't have it on hand, it isn't going to happen. And that's when you make the call for pizza or you go to McDonald's. And if you have these things on hand, you will be able to make something homemade and so much better for you and your family.
And you know, I think of people like Monday, for example, they were stuck at home with all these kids in a snowstorm, and they're probably unexpectedly having to then create lunch and dinner. Let's talk about condiments here.
Okay, so condiments are what we're going to talk about today. So if you start off with having some really great things on hand, you can make your own salad dressings like we've done on the show before. You can make your own sauces for pasta. You could, I don't know, make a marinade. You could do barbecue sauce. So some of those things that you want to always have on hand are things like lemon juice. If you always have lemon juice, you always have something acidic. So you can bake with it, you can make a salad dressing out of it, you could cook chicken with it. So there's lots of different options there. Other things to think about are good vinegars. So the most neutral vinegar out there is a rice wine vinegar. Most people don't know that, but you can use that kind of in place of any vinegar if you want because it's kind of a neutral flavor.
So many vinegars now. And what is the purpose with having so many? Do they
all
accent certain
do
dishes?
have a different flavor. I mean, if you get a balsamic, that's a very deep, you know, red winey flavor, whereas the rice wine vinegar is very, very light and refreshing, good for Asian cooking and things like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I use rice vinegar only for when I'm making homemade Chinese food.
That's good, but you can also use it in like a regular salad dressing. If you wanted to do something with orange or with lemon, you put a little bit of that. It cuts the acidity down a little bit and makes it more balanced.
Okay, let's talk about other advantages. Healthier usually and more cost effective.
Absolutely.
To make your own sauces
and you control what goes into it.
Dressings.
Most of those prepared sauces are going to have high fructose corn syrup in it. So this is a way to control that. You don't have to put that in there. You can use a natural sweetener like honey, which is something I always have on hand because it's good for you, it's good for your glycemic index, and it's a great choice.
And
for
you
a
can use
sweetener.
it in every dish,
Absolutely.
basically,
I like it.
instead of sugar.
Yeah, great ideas. Okay, so let's move on next to some of these things that are fats.
Fats, also very important, as you know, and I am a humongous proponent of butter, real butter. Just don't mess around with it.
I love to hear that, and it comes in a square box, not in a round tub.
No, and it's the real deal, and you know what? Unsalted, you can use it in anything, baking, finishing off a sauce. Using butter judiciously is a good tip. You don't want to drown everything. We're not playing Paula Deen here, but a little bit gives you that beautiful mouth feel, which is what a lot of people are missing when they're trying to eat low fat. So if, say, you saute some green beans, 1 tablespoon of butter at the end is really going to finish that dish. It makes it shiny, beautiful, and tasty.
Yeah, and there are so many different uses for olive oil. I have started using that in probably a lot more than I use butter.
Yes.
But a great way to add the good fats into dishes and a lot of flavor
It's
too.
a great fat. It's full of all sorts of good things for your body, and it has amazing flavor. And actually, that's what I brought for you today. You guys are going to be surprised because you can use olive oil in things like salad dressings or to cook with, but you can also bake with it. So I made a lemon olive oil cake.
Okay.
And there's a knife and forks too.
Right, so you got to give it a try.
Definitely.
But it makes it a
I'll do
little
some
bit
cutting.
healthier. It makes it very moist. It gives you some of that great olive oil flavor in it, which is cool. So this is one of those things that maybe you're out of butter that day where you can still make a yummy cake with your kids, you know, on your day off from school.
What a great idea.
Oiled cake.
Okay,
That's
so
such a great idea.
what ingredients are in this?
This is a 5-ingredient cake, so it has olive oil, it has eggs, it has sugar, flour, and then it has a lemon. So the zest and the juice from a lemon, but say you're out of lemons, you could certainly use your bottled lemon juice that you have in your pantry and you're all set to go. So
That's amazing.
Isn't that yummy?
I love it.
And so simple, easy, good with fruit.
I love lemon. Today's National National Pie Day.
It is? What was I thinking?
What's a pie cake?
It's a pie cake.
Okay,
Okay,
let's move
easier
over
than a pie,
here.
I'll tell you that.
So the salt, I see
So
you have here.
one of the easiest ways to improve your cooking is to change your salt. If you're using iodized salt, switch to kosher or switch to sea salt.
Okay.
It's a bigger grain. It doesn't dissolve as quickly. It's just an easy way to improve your cooking. It doesn't make food taste salty. It makes it taste better, is how I always
And
put
there's
it.
a variety of sea salt today.
Yes, and
as
those
well.
are a great choice as well, and you can get them in different, grinds and flakes, and all of that can add texture to your cooking. The other simple thing to do is to buy a pepper grinder.
I
Get
have
rid of
that.
that powdery stuff. That doesn't count.
Right. I know. I actually use a pepper grinder now. even when I'm cooking, and I used to always just shake out of a can or something, I use a pepper grinder.
And it makes a huge
You're having a great impact on me. Started making my own salad dressing.
Right.
Well, last but not least,
Well,
you
I
brought the
haven't
beer
brought
and
the beer
booze.
lately, so I did bring it
You
today.
cook a lot with alcohol,
I
and
do.
you are the host of the Great American Brew Trail, and I know that you have some great ideas of how we can incorporate beer into our foods to really give extra flavor.
Absolutely, it's a great thing. You can make stews out of it, add it to your chili. Any of that's going to bring
Pizza.
a lot more flavor. Yes, I put it in my pizza dough, as you know. And then I'm a big fan of the Boda box, especially for cooking. You open up a bottle of wine to cook with, and instead of it going bad with the Boda box, it's not going to oxidize, and so you can keep it on the shelf and always have some on hand to saute with or finish a dish with.
And more cost effective than buying a bottle.
4 bottles in that
Four
box.
bottles in it. And of all the boxed wines, my favorite is the Boda.
Mine is too. And I tested
You
them
know,
all.
you know me. Okay, when we come back, celebrating love, wine, and chocolate.
All along the lakeshore.
Along the lakeshore, absolutely. Thanks,
Our
Amy.
experts from the Grand Haven Spring Lake Holiday Inn are here today, and you're going to want to see this.